Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not always a conservative, or I don't always have a conservative leaning viewpoint on this specific issue. But when you have an economy that's in the tank right now, you don't want to raise taxes, whether it's for capital gains or even corporate income tax or corporate taxes or federal income tax. You don't want to raise taxes when the economy is in the toilet. That is basic common sense. You don't want to raise taxes because you want businesses to flourish, or you want corporate America or small businesses to rebound. You want people to get hired. You don't want to force, for example, if it's Amazon or any other company, you force a certain minimum wage, they're then going to just simply fire employees. They'll get out of any government legislated economic imposition on their bottom line. That they'll always do. But when there's so many people out of work, millions of people still out of work, you don't want to raise taxes. The market tanked today. Barron's, why is the stock market down today? Blame capital gains tax. The Street, stocks sink on report Biden seeks higher capital gains tax on wealthy. Dow closes more than 300 points, CNBC, following reports of Biden eyeing capital gains tax. Now, Democrats and the left and a great many people who have noble intent say, oh, well, it's for schools, it's for healthcare, it's for childcare. I mean, this is fantastic. Yeah, but if you are making it more difficult for parents to find work because corporations or wealthy individuals don't, so if you raise taxes at this point right now, whether it's you raise corporate tax rate or you raise federal income taxes, you raise capital gains taxes, corporations or businesses will let go of more people, have less incentive to hire people. That's just basic common logic. That's basic economics, especially when business is horrible or the economy is still trying to rebound. We had a self-induced economic recession, almost a depression, and because of science. You don't want to give less incentive for businesses to hire people. You want to give more incentive. That being said, here's a Forbes article from 2014. It turns out there are many reasons why the capital gains tax harms economic performance. Clemens, Lamham, and Lowe explain the lock-in effect. Capital gains are taxed on a realization basis. This means that the tax is only imposed when an investor opts to withdraw his or her investment from the market and realize the capital gain. One of the most significant economic effects is the incentive this creates for owners of capital to retain their current investments, even if more profitable and productive opportunities are available. Even if more profitable and productive opportunities are available. When you talk about wealth inequality, like Bernie Sanders, AOC, they talk about wealth inequality, but then they work, unfortunately, oftentimes, like AOC kicked out Amazon. That was Democrats ran studies, and Democrats, de Blasio, everybody from de Blasio to Andrew Cuomo, who's completely disgraced now for sending elderly people infected people into elderly care facilities, leading directly to 15,000 lives lost. They all said this would increase tax revenue because the profits and the economic impact of having an Amazon headquarters would be phenomenal. It would also create other jobs like food trucks or dry cleaners or union work. But see, to AOC, it's just tax revenue. That's it, which it would have still created. And then she said, oh, well, you're giving incentives and, it's not fair. And it's the typical, it's not fair. And then you make things less equal, less fair. But you are giving less of an incentive for people who have perhaps millions or hundreds of millions of dollars to take out that money from the stock market or from their investments to perhaps start a business or to perhaps put money in businesses that need funding. Okay? So it's interesting that, like, our beloved President Biden, who, by the way, if he does this, it's a very, very good thing, a beautiful thing, a paradigm-changing thing, a momentous thing. If he recognizes the Armenian genocide, I would tip my hat to Biden. That would be absolutely fantastic, because I wrote a number of articles. Go to hagoodman.com, in the Huffington Post, the Times of Israel, and I have asked within those articles for President Obama and President Trump to recognize the Armenian genocide, and for Israel to recognize the Armenian genocide. So that would be amazing if he does that. I would tip my hat to Biden and definitely, compliment what he hopefully will do. But on this topic, you don't want to raise taxes at all. I don't understand the economic. I don't understand the mentality. You had record low unemployment throughout President Trump's tenure. Then you had a self-induced recession, veering into a depression because of science. Now you want the economy to rebound. You don't want to you certainly don't want to have people say, well, I'd rather just get money from the government and not start my own business or start looking for work, because all the work that's out there, I'm not going to make as much as what the federal government will give. You don't want that. You want the economy to flourish again. You want businesses to open up. You want businesses to start hiring. You want people to start making money. That's how wealth inequality is diminished. People making money, generating wealth. You want communities that are economically depressed to get out of that situation. Okay? But see, they don't seem to, Democrats don't seem to understand that taxes, even in the best of times, stifle economic activity. You can look at, well, in the 50s, that wasn't the case. Well, this isn't the 50s. We're not the number one economy in the world. I mean, we are the number one economy in the world, but we're not the number one by such a great margin. Okay, we'll be the geopolitical situation in the world, the economic landscape, it was completely different. We didn't have rivals. China was not an economic rival in the 1950s. All of Europe was not an economic rival because of what took place, prior to the 50s. So, the World War II. So, we were the only country left standing. We were the number one economy in the world by far. That's not the case now. And we didn't have the debt we have now. We didn't have the population we have now. So, we didn't have the wealth inequality we have now. So, you can't just go back and say, well, in the 50s, we raised taxes and, where taxes were higher, and look at the economic impact. It was completely and utterly different in every way. You're going to give less incentive for very wealthy people, and this is like a reality that Democrats or people on the left don't want to address. When you raise taxes, you are creating an economic hurdle that businesses have to surpass or jump over. The understanding as well, it's better for society because you're helping out with these government-funded programs. That could be the case when the economy is okay. But you don't want to do that now. That's the issue. You're actually making things less equal. You're actually creating more inequality. For every program that you fund with taxes, while the economy is in the toilet, you are increasing the likelihood that people don't find jobs. So if you are funding services for children, the parents of those children are going to have a tougher time finding jobs because you've imposed this capital gains tax, because you've imposed a higher corporate tax or a higher federal income tax. You don't want to do that right now. That's my point. And I don't know why Biden's administration is doing this. I have no clue. So the Democratic Party, the Democrats within states that tank their economies now have to rebound. They cannot make it more difficult for businesses to open up, which is what they're doing. Democrats are making it more difficult for the entire economy to rebound with talk of taxes, and that's why, or with the impending tax increases, and that's why you're going to have this situation where hopefully this isn't the case, but the American economy might be very slow to rebound, and that would be tragic, and that would increase wealth inequality, not decrease wealth inequality. Give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe right now.